Welcome back, everyone. Joining us now to break down tonight's debate, our powerhouse roundtable, Matt Dowd, ABC News chief political analyst, Rahm Emanuel, the former mayor of Chicago, Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, Sarah Fagan, CEO of Deep Root Analytics, and Yvette Simpson, CEO of Democracy for America. Governor Christie, I'd like to start with you. It wasn't a repeat, certainly, of the last debate, but President Trump went after Joe Biden aggressively. You've certainly coached him before, Chris. Do you think that the change in tone helped the president tonight? And is it too late to make a difference?
It absolutely helped the president tonight, the change in tone, because it did two things. One, it lowered the heat so that people could actually listen to what the two candidates were saying. And secondly, it allowed Joe Biden room to talk about what he wanted to talk about, which I've been advocating for the president to do right from the beginning, because Joe Biden, to me, made a strategic mistake tonight. He said he's going to go to zero carbon by 2025, in 5 years, and phase out the oil industry. I am confident that voters in the middle of Pennsylvania and in certain places of Ohio in particular are going to be hearing that loud and clear tonight and knowing that Joe Biden is going to be eliminating their jobs in 5 years or less if we're going to go to zero carbon by 2025. I think this is a big mistake by Joe Biden tonight, and I think he's going to pay for it and could very well pay for it by losing Pennsylvania.
Rahm, how would you score Joe Biden tonight on the way that he handled those personal attacks from the president?
Look, I mean, I think he was most passionate when he talked to the American people about the challenges their lives have and how they provide for their families and their children's future. And he clearly had it in a very personal way, understanding the pressure points. Take this one thing. When Joe Biden was talking about missing a loved one from COVID, et cetera, he understood what happens to a family and the disruption. There was no empathy or even recognition by the president of people suffering under COVID. That illustrates the difference. I think in the end of the day, Joe Biden, in my view, did a good job and better than a good job for himself. He was aggressive. He didn't sit on a lead. He was concise. He had a plan, and he spoke to it. I think Donald Trump never really effectively made this a binary choice. And if you think of the debate as a whole, as a closing argument to the voters, in the end of the day, the architecture of this race is a referendum on Donald Trump. And it continues to be that, not only on the policies, but the coarseness of his rhetoric that has actually ripped America apart. And Joe Biden embraced that. Yes, character is on the ballot.
And Sarah, voters actually got to hear two candidates express full sentence differences on policies tonight. The president has been consistently touting his economic record. Who do you think made a better case tonight for bringing the economy back?
Well, I think the president, when we're talking about the economy, is usually winning the debate. I thought, Lindsay, he was particularly strong on what he's done to improve the lives of minorities. He talked at length about everything from historically black colleges to his criminal justice reform to job growth for these communities. I mean, he did a pretty good job of putting that together tonight. And I think it's actually a stronger argument. He makes the mistake too many times. He didn't do it tonight, but too many times he gets caught up in statements that are considered racially insensitive. He did not do that tonight. He focused on the policy, and on economic policy, he does pretty well with most voters.
Yvette, your thoughts on what Sarah just said?
I think that he was Donald Trump. You know, you say you're the least racist president, and then you say you're the least racist person in the room with an African-American female moderator. And then he says, the room is dark, and I just love everyone in the room. It's tone deaf, it's insensitive. It just shows more of his embellishment, his being divorced from reality, the fact that he really doesn't understand the needs of African Americans. I think one of the things that Joe Biden did for the first time was bringing forward the Central Park Five and the way that he handled that situation, which is really, really sensitive for African Americans. And I think he also did a good job of talking about the fact that many of the reforms that Donald Trump takes credit for, including the low unemployment among African Americans and Hispanics, started under the Obama Biden administration. And so I think he could have said that more and more and more. And this was the first time I actually got, I think, a very clear answer from him on that.
Matt, we have less than...
Yeah, no, Donald Trump is not winning more points among African Americans based on his debate performance today.
Matt Dowd, I'd like to bring you in. We have less than 2 weeks to go. Where does Biden need at this point to be focusing his attention and spending his time on the trail? And what message should he especially be hammering home?
Well, since we already have almost 50 million people voted, and we're, as of tomorrow, going to be 11 days away from Election Day, and most of all of the votes will be cast by next Friday, by a week from Friday, the majority of votes will be cast. I think Biden just keeps doing what he's doing. I was struck, the biggest thing I was struck tonight, this was a debate that Donald Trump had to have a knockout to get back in. He's 10 points down to get back in. I think Joe Biden won it. But the thing, as I said, that struck me the most was what he should keep doing, which Joe Biden continually talked to the broad American public, from every red states, blue states, everybody. Donald Trump was talking to Fox News viewers tonight. Almost everything he said was presumed some information that people got on Fox News. Joe Biden was speaking to the broad swath of America. And so if I were Joe Biden, he's got the lead. Keep doing what you're doing and keep speaking to the broad American public, because he's got the lead right now. And unless something drastically changes, he's going to keep that lead.
COVID-19, of course, remains the #1 issue in this campaign, and we're certainly seeing a resurgence in many states. Chris, you seem to have had a new appreciation of the disease since you caught it. The president perhaps is taking that a little bit differently. Would you think that he would fare better if he showed a little more empathy?
Listen, what I've learned in politics, Lindsay, is you have to be yourself. You have to be authentic. And you have to say what you really believe and feel, and people can tell that when you do. And so what I would say to the president is say what's in your heart, and tell people what you really think. And when you try to pretend, like Joe Biden did tonight on this issue, he said he was going to be the president, the American president, and that he doesn't see red states or blue states. And then right after he said that, he said, but I want to remind everybody, all the spikes you see right now are happening in red states. Well, you know, Mr. Vice President, if you don't see red states or blue states, then why did you take that shot at people in red states? It's because he does see red states and blue states. And he was not being authentic then. He was being scripted. That was a line he was given before he made that statement. And then the real Joe Biden came out after that statement when he talked about the spikes being in red states. So here's my advice to both and every politician I've met. Be authentic. Be yourself, because as my mother used to tell me, if you're yourself, then you don't have to try to remember tomorrow who you pretended to be yesterday. And Joe Biden had a little bit of a problem with that tonight.
That's good advice for us all. At least 47.1 million Americans have already cast their ballots, already as many as the total early vote from all of 2016. Ram, what do we read into this intense enthusiasm?
Well, I mean, the fact is, going like to 2018, you had the biggest midterm election. There is and you're going to have, and all of us have predicted, there was going to be a massive turnout in the presidential. That was true in the primaries. There is passion on both sides. But the passion is also driven not only by Democrats who are angry at Donald Trump and what he's done to the country, but independent voters, suburban voters, college-educated voters, senior voters, who were anti-Hillary last time have become anti-Trump this time. And they are there to cast that ballot. And when you have energized Democrats with exhausted independents who now are going to choose a safe Democrat, that is a very robust political coalition. I would say one other thing about the debate. Donald, you know, part of campaigns are you got to do everything you're supposed to do, and you need your opponent to do everything you hope they do. Joe Biden did not play with the role that Donald Trump needed him to do. He was good. He was straight. He was right to the camera. Said, this is not about me or my family. This is about your family, your kids' future. And when he did that, he spoke right to them where they were. And at no time did Trump engage the American people about where they were. He was engaging them, giving himself credit for what he got done. That's not where the country is, and that's not what they want to hear from a president. It's about them, not him.
Thank you, Ram, and that's all the time that we have for tonight. A big thank you to our entire Powerhouse Roundtable and to you at home joining us. Keep it right here on ABC News Live for an encore of tonight's debate. Good evening.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.